music to me has been the only thing I've ever found that I've actually been able to express myself, or, you know, I've become addicted to creating things, is what it is. It started, like I said, it started as a hobby of just making, like, oh, it's fun to make music, right? Then it became like an addiction. Like I'm literally like, I enjoy making music to the point that I OCD about it. And I literally, like, it's like I get thoughts in my head. I gotta get them out. It's the only way. Like I literally, like, I mean, I'll get weird if I don't write. Like after like a couple weeks, like I start getting weird, like shaky, and I get like just more agitated. Like, and I think that goes back to the concept of people saying that, like, you know, it's good to get your thoughts out of your head and, you know, keep a diary or write in whatever you can. And that's kind of what music is to me. It's my diary.
Mind never go to sleep, and it's showing this life there's no net average. Rock the habit, but still I feel like I gotta get away. We know where to go, but I feel like it's all structurally rotting away.
What is it like now performing compared to what you thought it would be like when you were younger?
Oh my God, night and day is what it is. When I first got into music, and I was making, I had no clue what I was doing. I came up and it was like I took that advice that they tell every musician. Play everything you can, take every show you can, and that is completely not the answer. And you know, I didn't know anything about building a brand, or, you know, what, like, names didn't really matter. When I first started and I was a kid, dude, names didn't matter. I was Che, and that's what it was. It wasn't about branding something. It was very organic. It was just free thoughts. Now it's evolved into, like, you know, it's branding, and writing songs with content, and there's the million things that it takes to make music, and, you know, and that's took me 15 years to learn all the different things that it takes to be a professional musician in this day and age.
How did Luck Factor Zero start?
Well, it started with me just wanting a band and wanting that brotherhood of being able to, you know, generate live music. And I feel like that's the problem with hip hop, is it's not a lot of live instruments. I think it's becoming more of that now with the live bands and the entertainment value. But it wasn't always like that. Through mutual friends, I got connected with Daniel, which is, you know, my drummer. But I met up with him. I get out the car, and he's like, and I'm like, you know, I had this whole, like, business plan for him. And I walk up to him, and he's like, so, like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm an MC, you know, and I rap, I do this and that. And he's like, oh, really? He's like, dude, I used to be in a hip hop band, and, like, you know, I idolize Questlove. Like, I've always, you know, loved drumming for hip hop. And I was like, dude, we should totally jam sometime. We were running around, literally, it was an MC, an iPod, and a drummer. And we ran that for a little while, for a couple years there. We did that. And then we started looking online, and we went on Craigslist, put an ad on Craigslist, and that's how we met Devin, right? Bam. And then, like, you know, and then we started working with Devin. We had the little trio thing going, and we're just, you know, kind of vibing it out with the, you know, half live production type feel, is, you know, while we're kind of figuring it out. As that progressed, I was looking for another frontman to kind of MC it with me. Tried a couple things just didn't work out. Like, once again, it's creative differences. People just weren't really doing what I was trying to do, or I wasn't doing what they were wanting to do, but it just didn't link up. And then out of nowhere, a friend of mine, he went on a random date that, you know, they met off Tinder, and he's hanging out with this chick, and at the same time, she met him with her sister, and she's like, oh, he's talking about how he made music, and they're like, oh, my buddy Che makes music, and he goes, Che, how you know Che? Like, you know what I mean? And then it was like, he got back in touch with me, because me and Antics used to go back like 7 years prior to all this, you know what I mean? And we were doing an album then. And then we had just, you know, at the time, things didn't work out, and he had to go kind of do his thing, and I kind of went and did my thing. But it's funny that time later brought us together. When he came back around, he had this song that he wrote called Tinder. It was like, and then when he showed it to me, right, he's like, yo, man, I want you to hop on this. The whole verse was about swiping right on Tinder, because he was heavily on it at the time. And then I was like, well, what if I went left? You know what I mean? What if I swipe left on all my stuff, and my side's more the negative side to it, you know? And then me and him started working together, and he was recording. At that time, I was still doing my solo thing, so he was recording my new CD, and he was like, you know, pushing the button for me, and like, well, I will lay it down. And then after like a month of that, You know, I was like, hey man, you want to do a writing session? He's like, yeah, let's do it. And then that writing session turned into New Beginnings, you know, which was also the first song that we've had played on the radio, you know. So it was like, it was just natural, this thing, you know, that was there. And like at that point too, the band was still kind of like, we were jamming here and there, but we didn't have nothing solid yet, because it was rough, because we didn't have a name, you know, and we were trying to figure out what we were doing, and we were still trying to find the right pieces to build the puzzle, you know. And then once me and Antics clicked up, then the workflow was just able to just happen naturally and organically, and you know, we could not try, and we could catch that lightning in the bottle, just, you know, organically. Like I told you, I've always been about the team and the band and that brotherhood. You know, like I always envied that, you know, and I look at bands like, look how tight these guys are, and it's like they're best friends, and they get to see the world together and make music, and you know, and fuck bitches and drink beer and smoke pot and, you know, get kicked out of places and just have fun, man. You know what I mean? Like I've always been envious of that when I looked at these other rock stars, you know. And then it was like, it's cool that like I was able to assemble more than just, you know, 4 guys that are musically talented, but 4 like good guys that are actually good people, that actually, you know, have good chemistry with one another. Drops the mic.
So what age did you start getting into music, man?
Really early on. It was basically elementary school. Started off with the trumpet, and middle school moved over to the drums, and I got my first set when I was about 10 years old, 10, 11. So I've been drumming for about 22 years. My ultimate favorite from back in the day is Rage Against the Machine. Always a huge fan of hip hop and rock. You know, they're definitely a big influence in my life still to this point. I really didn't know what I was doing with it. The reason that I started off drumming was I saw a commercial for a drum set that was on sale at the local music store, and I happened to have $100 that I saved up when I was about 10 years old. By walking my neighbor's dog for $1 a day. So I had $100 I didn't know what I was gonna do with, and it just so happened that my mom was hella cool. The next day we went down and bought the drum set, and I put my 100 up, and she's like, are you sure that's what you want to do with your money? And I'm like, 100%. And from that day forward I never looked back.
So why is music important to you, and what does it do for you personally?
Personally, drumming, it helps me actually think. I actually can get behind the kit and play whatever I want to, and I can actually focus on other things and think about what I need to do with my life or troubles I'm going through, take out some aggression, all that good shit. Well, basically, it all came about through screen printing. I was printing t-shirts out of my apartment with a screen printing press that I made out of wood, and he heard through the grapevine that I was making designs, and he just wanted to link up. So when we did, it was just kind of like the perfect combination. All the knowledge I had, he needed, and all the equipment that he had, I needed, and it was just like I said, the perfect combination. And we just started clicking up from there. He told me he was a rapper. I'm a drummer, love hip hop, so we basically came together through that. And from there, it's just been on and popping. You can always learn from somebody who's been down that road. So take lessons, learn from everyone you can, follow that passion, and just, you know, kill it, go after it, you know? Take lessons. That's the first and foremost thing that I could stress. I learned so much when I took 2 years of drumming that it completely changed my style. And that's what my mentor told me, is that I'm gonna change your style. And I didn't believe him. Nope. But sure enough, 2 years later, I'm doing intricate shit that I never thought I would be doing. Afro-Cuban beats, to metal, to swing. I mean, all across the board. You gotta add whatever your talents are, you gotta add those things to your arsenal. The more you do, the better.
What age did you start getting into music?
It was 15, 16, back in '99 actually, and it's funny because on the album Words we have a song called Full Circle, sort of explaining like, you know, how this all sort of started. I say back in '99 listening to Blackout, and the album Blackout, Red and Method Man, and that really just sort of inspired me. I loved the sound of it. Also a lot of it influence as far as thinking that I could, personally, I can do something with this rap and making music, being a musician, is listening to my brother always bringing home his bass. He played in orchestra, and so I would always, listen to him playing the bass when he would come home, and it just sort of inspired me.
What does music do for you? And
It fulfills me. It gives me, it's therapy. I always said, like when I was caved away for a few years and wrote my solo album, a lot of it was just therapy release. I went through breakup, through band splitting up, from a divorce to being solo and independent, just collectively. Not even just as a musician, just life in general. It was a tough transition, and so music was like my release, and so it was beautiful to me, and it gave me this feeling at the end of it all, like when I came up with something great, like, man, I couldn't create that unless this madness sort of happened, and so throughout all the chaos, music is always there, and so it's just there for me. And for me, like I said, it's everything that I want to do. I do the job that I have now. It's fine, whatever, but I don't want to just pay bills. I kind of want to speak to people. And for a while, it's interesting. It's sort of ass backwards the way I do things. I'm very tucked away. I don't really like communicating with people that much, but I do like sort of saying something in my music. I don't just like rapping about myself or writing about, so I'll try to come up with more universal things. And I like to, when someone comes up to me, I don't get it often, but when that person does come up to me and says like, oh, your music's awesome, or that was awesome, or I like this line, whether it's a line or a verse, whatever, at the end of it, that's the greatest feeling. And to be able to amplify that feeling times a million is the plan, to connect to everyone. I can only imagine what it's like, I can only imagine. But yeah, music is everything. Team up, definitely team up. You can be as confident as you want to with this music, but at the end of it all, and you can get everything done musically yourself, solo, take any direction you want, but at the end of it, when it comes time to branching, to connecting, to reaching out to people, to the masses, you have to have a team who's confident. So if you're confident and you surround yourself with confident people, then positive results. Team up, absolutely. Believe in yourself also. A lot of it has to do with feeling yourself, it doesn't matter what people say. Everyone has an opinion. You can take any sort of saying that you want to and throw it in there, but at the end of it, as long as you're feeling your music and you're appreciative of what you're doing, then people will come, people will flock, so just believe in yourself. Sure.
What age did you get into music?
I started playing guitar at the age of 12. A friend of mine wanted to start a band, so we already had 2 guitars, so one of us had to play bass, and I got volunteered to play bass, so ever since then I've been playing bass.
What are some of your inspirations?
Definitely starting out, Flea was a huge inspiration, and then I later got into jazz and the music theory studies, got really into Jaco Pastorius, but yeah, those 2 were definitely like the biggest influences on my playing. Music has always been there for me for every single hardship I've had. It's just a great outlet for me personally, just to relax or get angry or get sad, get happy. It's just always good like that.
So you tend to be a different person on stage?
Yeah, you kind of have to be. You definitely want to come off as more confident and kind of have a bigger than life persona. Because you're putting on a show for people. You can't just kind of, like me personally, I'm a pretty calm and relaxed person, but I can't necessarily do it on stage because it'd be a boring show, so definitely have to be a different person. Vegas is definitely a challenge to play, just because there's just so much going on at any given point. It's hard to stand out. I've played shows in Illinois, where I used to live, a little bit easier because there's not a whole lot going on, so if you're playing on the weekend, you're the main event. I've also played in places like California, where that's also like kind of a oversaturated scene, so it's hard to get noticed. And a lot of places are like pay to play, so it's just kind of harder to make it. It's a little bit easier to make it in the smaller towns. I'd say definitely with the technology that we have now, like try to do as much as you can on your own. That way when you do get bigger and you do get label interests, you will have more leverage to strike a better deal. But a label is definitely not a make or break type deal, so do as much as you can and just keep going and see what happens.
So how did you guys start writing the album Words?
That's a story in itself, man. It was just writing sessions at first. It was kind of like, you know, and I'm not going to say it was a joke, but we were just kind of like having fun. Like we both, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's good for when you're an artist to work with another artist and just write something and see where that goes. And then the first song that we wrote together was New Beginnings.
New Beginnings, yeah.
And it came out really good. He had an EP that he was about to drop, and I had a CD that I was working on too. But basically, an EP. I think we were both working on EPs, and we had separate stuff.
Right.
And then in the mix, like he was helping me record my EP, and then we did that song together. Cause like you know, I just had, you know, we go through days when we want to have a writing session. Like I just wanted to have a creative day that wasn't recording.
Right.
So we did a writing session, and there was always like, cause 6 years prior to this, me and him met up, and we were working on some songs then. And within like a month, we knocked out like 10 songs previously. So, and we never revived any of those songs, by the way. So, just so people know, we never did that. But
not even a hook.
Not even a fucking hook, nothing. You know what I mean? But when he came back around, it was just, there was really good chemistry there, and we were able to, I don't know, like the songs just kept kind of coming naturally. We did it, then we did our next song, and then before we knew it, we had like 5 songs. I remember going to my engineer who was mixing everything and was like, "Damn, dude," he goes, "Are you and Antics doing a tape?" And I was like, "Nah." I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
It's a good question. And then I came back to him like, "Yo, dog, should we do a tape?" And then it went from like doing an EP, because everyone right now is on this EP mode. Like the whole game's gone EP. So I felt like the game needed an LP. Like, which, you know, in layman's terms, that means it's a full CD. It's not a half. It's not like 6 songs. It's like going to be 12 or more. And that's what we wanted. And I wanted to, you know, do something kind of creative. But the reason it became What Occurs Randomly Dropped Suddenly is because that's exactly it. Before we knew what the fuck we were doing, we had 5 songs, and then it was 6 songs, and then it was like, you know, now we're like, okay, now we're going to do an album. We were already halfway done with the album by the time we realized that we were doing an album.
And it all runs as a unit. That's the beauty of it.
The reason it went from Chemist and Antics Words to Luck Factor 0 Words is because it was just fucking magic, dude. And we had to capture it, and we had to make it something, because like, dude, like, be honest, has it ever been so easy for you to write songs in your life?
Never.
No,
Never.
me neither. I've never, you know what I mean? Like, I write better songs when I write with another MC because I feel challenged. Like, I could be totally bodied at any second. You know what I mean? And it's not about it's not necessarily, but it's healthy competition.
Friendly competition.
Yeah, it's friendly competition. Like, you want to, you know what I mean? You want to be dope on track, and that's what it is. So we kind of push each other on that. Like, and I've seen cases, you know what I mean? Like, where I've inspired you, in case where you've inspired me, where I'm like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
And like, this dude got me, like, and I have to go back and rewrite some shit, you know? And vice versa, you know? And by doing that, you know, it keeps our bar up there, you know?
Right, absolutely. I think the hardest part is just staying in that zone, that music zone, you know? I got this to do for the next couple hours. I'm not leaving here until it's right.
I think it's hard, too, juggling all the other aspects, that's, like, the things that aren't in my control. Like, you know, like, I do the writing and the recording, cool, but, like, you know, like, the different mixes or masterings or, you know, making, you know, getting the beats, going through, working with different producers, getting different, I think, you know, because that's the mystery of it, you know? You never know how something, that's the unknown variable. When we make a song, we don't know if it's going to be hot yet. Right. We just, I mean, when I leave, I feel like I did a great job, but that, you know, you never fucking know. So it's like, I feel like it's that unknown variable of, you know, when I send it out, or what kind of beats are going to come in. Like, what if the people that are feeding me beats all of a sudden have a bad streak, and we don't have, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be bad, you know? Like,
it's good to know beat makers.
It's good to know a bunch, and the beauty is a lot of people been reaching out lately, a lot, actually. So this next record is not, but who knows? Because if you look at the board, it says Esco, all the way down. Because that's our main producer.
Esco.
So like, you know, like he did most of, you know, a good half of the Words record.
Yep.
You know, it's official because we're saying it on this thing. We're gonna be releasing our acapellas to all the Beatports and all the different DJ sites, and for free download. And all the EDM DJs can make remixes, whatnot, as long as they hashtag Luck Factor 0 in it, they're eligible in the competition. And we're gonna be picking one mix for every song. You know what I mean? So the more you know what I mean, the more you enter, the more chance you have to win. You know, and we're gonna make a full remix album and shit, and then drop that shit within the next 6 months too. Yeah. So be ready for that. But that's the people. That's the thing. I want our people that are feeling our shit, that happen to make music too, and like, man, I want you to run with it, and I want you to create something fucking dope, dude. And then like, fuck it, and then we just split that shit, like whatever. Let's make a hit.
What do you guys think is the main factor that contributes to you guys working so well as a group, as a band?
It's definitely not luck.
No, not at all. Say awesomeness, dedication. I think it's the fact that everyone is driven, comes with a purpose, knows what they're doing, knows what their job and their title and what their position is in the group.
Yeah, everyone has their own sort of individuality that they bring to the table, and it blends together very nicely. So and we all know exactly what we're working on and working towards.
I think I bring some of the music theory to it, like the arrangement to kind of make it more dense.
Bang the skins. That's about it.
It puts us in tune. To put it, I mean, literally, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of the job.
Do you guys have those typical band fights?
It was a Snickers, like nothing serious, nothing serious. But yeah, no, of course we have the little ones, gotta do push-ups when we show up late, stuff like that,
When did that rule start?
Has it been enacted?
It's been activated like today. Today's the first day. Official.
All right, cool.
Where the grace period was in.
Duly noted.
The second show we ever did, we ended up going in and we wired in. We had a bunch of lights and we had a really cool production. And then they rewired our stuff and then ran it all through like one breaker. We ended up blowing the fucking breaker out at the venue, and all the sound went out, all the lights went out, everything was. And then we had to improv, and then we were able to get just a little other mics on. We had to improv and do a little freestyle in the middle of the show, so it was kind of cool.
It's also nerve-wracking, trying to keep the people there too.
Right.
Going through those issues,
right. Yeah.
And trying to act professional about it, but I feel like that's part of the growth. I feel like we have to go through those sort of things. Not everything's gonna be perfect, and I don't expect it to be, whether it's not enough people at a show or stuff like that happening. I feel like something. So I always just kind of go into a show expecting the worst.
Right. But you control the situation,
best,
so you make the best of it.
Some bands would have got discouraged at stuff like that, but I mean we're all pros, so we just kept pushing forward.
And luckily, when our mics blew out, we had the company of these good fellows behind us, drums and bass, and so there was that improvising was just flawless while him and I sort of worked on whatever needed to be fixed.
Right.
They just kept it going. It was instrumental, and luckily, actually, people stuck around. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it happened 3 times that night, but
because this kept blowing the breaker, we had to.
I think the 3rd time, people probably got sick of it, but what can you do? Like I said, it's just part of the growth.
Yeah. Ain't gonna happen again, now. I'll tell you that right now.
When it happens, is there like an initial panic when you're on stage?
Yeah. Actually, go ahead. But my initial reaction is don't panic, because I'm immediately like, all right, what do we do? And then luckily, I got 3 other people that are thinking I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think they're thinking the exact same thing. I don't think you guys going to panic mode.
I just think shit. It's probably the first word that comes in the head. Like, God damn it. You know what I mean? This shit, what happened? Because that is it's like double entendre to the name, Luck Factor 0. Like, yeah, we don't need luck, but at the same time, we don't have no fucking luck. So any situation that luck comes into play, we get fucked on that 100%. So that's like, it's a double entendre to the name, and that's one of those situations.
Class, but my simplest the riddles, put riddles your little ass. I'm trying to connect dots across the map. I love my city, every thought of coming back, but I gotta run that map. My haters secretly love me. They love me. I'm all over the country like dirty money. Wonder why these strippers wanna touch me.
So even though you guys are a relatively young band, have you noticed your music spreading outside of Las Vegas?
That's the beauty of social media, my friend. Yes, we have. So yeah, I mean, with a lot of the tools and a lot of the teams that we've been able to put together, and some awesome people that that have volunteered and jumped on board, and have helped spread street team wise and spread the word. We're now in over 20 something states, and growing, couple countries, you know, got Canada, a couple spots in Canada that we're talking to some people out there and they're doing some stuff. Sydney, Australia, which was cool because I really wanted to go to Australia for some time now, so that's really cool. And it's just beautiful. It's just that, you know, you tell one person and then you'd be surprised who connects with it, and then they get excited and then want to tell other people, you know.
You were saying something about Shanghai too?
Yeah, we got some people out in Shanghai that we might be going out to China. Just working on that. Still trying to get some of these guys to get their passports. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's
And growing. That's
and growing, and that's the
main-
beauty. Like I always tell the guys, and I always tell people, like the weakest we'll ever be was yesterday or today. You know, like because tomorrow, you know, we're gonna already have what we did today, and we're gonna have what we did yesterday. We're gonna have all that shit. No, now we're just adding to it. So it's the beautiful thing because it just grows, and as long as we keep working and we keep, you know, keep hammering, it's gonna turn into something. I mean, that's why we go by, you know, luck factor 0 is because there's no luck to this, man. I'm not sitting back making music and like hoping people discover me. I'm online, fucking hitting people and, you know, dropping videos and taking photo shoots and, you know, like
organically.
dude, I'm about to go in like a couple days. I'm going down to Austin. I'm flying there just to market. I don't know who, you know, doing that shit. You know what I mean? I'm hopping on a plane. I'm getting shit printed there. And I'm renting a car and I'm picking up a bunch of boxes of flyers and posters, and I'm personally going to be putting up posters of my shit all over Austin because it's a music capital and it's really big, and you know, I'm going to look for some shows, set up some flyers and CDs, like doing that little extra because that's what you got to do to make it. You know, you can't be lazy, think someone's going to find you and they're going to push you. We're in a day and age where labels don't give a fuck. You got to build your own name.
You have to be your own street team.
Right, you do, until you can build a street team.
Yeah.
And luckily, like, thank God, like, you know what I mean, like, I feel like, you know, we're good enough now that our music sounds good enough that people are jumping on board and like, dude, this is tight. I relate to this. I like this. I want to help spread this. Like the feelings that we used to get when we were kids. You know, and I remember listening to a record and being like, this is my shit. And I want to, like, I still have a couple records I do this shit. I'll pull up at a stoplight, roll the windows down and bump that shit so the car next to me can hear what I'm listening to because I'm proud of their shit. You know what I mean? But now I'm proud of our shit. Like, that's how good it is. And then other people I feel are almost proud of our shit. So it's just an amazing feeling. And I think that's why it's spreading.
I loved it tonight. It was the best that I've seen so far. Last time I saw them, it was just Antics and Chemist, and now it's the whole band, and it just really completed the show. I just like that they have a lot of legitimate things to say. It's more of a lifestyle than just the band. They put a lot of effort into their work.
You guys like Luck Factor Zero's performance tonight?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Was this your first time seeing Luck Factor Zero?
Yes, and I would definitely see them again.
Yeah?
My first time even ever hearing Luck Factor Zero. Yes.
What did you guys like about Luck Factor Zero?
How they got involved in like the crowd and like.
First of all, they
I don't care.
should not have been openers. They should have been closers.
Yeah.
They brought energy.
Most